Hey everybody, welcome to another video. Today I am out at a lovely park in Burnaby, BC on the west coast of Canada called Deer Lake Park. As you can see, there's a big lake in front of me, and the point of this video is to go over the video capabilities of the Pentax K3 Mark III. Pentax is not really known for their video capabilities, but because I've been a long-time Pentax shooter, I've always used their cameras for both photo and video. Mostly photo, but I do shoot a bit of video every now and then at events that I go to and cover. So today, because of the improved capabilities of the K3 Mark III, I kind of wanted to touch on that today, and I'll be shooting some video, a variety of different styles. I'll be shooting on a tripod, shooting on a gimbal. I'm going to shoot mostly in 4K, 30 frames. And I brought a couple of lenses with me today. I've got my 35 2.4, which is a fantastic video lens. And I brought my trusty 18 to 55, which is a real weird one. It's I got it years ago, probably about 10-12 years ago, and it actually came as a kit with my K10D that I bought. So it's just a really good all-around lens, and it's far better than any of the 18 to 55 offerings that I think Pentax has now. So I don't know, it's been a real good go-to lens for me in the past, so I'm going to shoot some stuff with that today, and we'll see what we can get. So I think what I'm going to do, as you can see, it's a lovely, there's a little spit just out that way that I want to go to. Maybe get some of these lily pads and stuff that are on the lake. There's some kayakers. There's a beach over that way as well. That, as you can see, I don't know if you can see from the GoPro because it's kind of far away, but there's a lot of kayakers out there, so maybe we'll get some of that footage. But yeah, so I'm going to be shooting today with my 18 to 55 and my 35mm 2.4. We'll see what we can get. Yeah, as I mentioned before, it would have been cool if this thing had a tilting screen, but that's alright. So I'm just going to spot focus on this. This is 4K 30, so 4K 30 frames per second. I just record a little bit of video. I'm shooting in AV mode, aperture priority at f2.4. And I'm going to let the camera kind of do its thing regarding the rest of the exposure. So we're going to get that little sort of daffodil in the front there in focus, get the rest of it out of focus, and just shoot for a little bit, kind of get the wind blowing it. And again, this is a 35mm. See the entire setup there. We've got set on a Manfrotto tripod. Nice shot of the lake. I was going to shoot out on this thing, but it kind of rocks back and forth a little bit. Maybe I'll get those daffodils over there too. We'll see. Alright, that's good for that shot. Just sort of showcase the video capabilities of this particular camera. I don't think I'll shoot much in 1080p today. If I'm out shooting like sports or action, I might put it in 1080p mode just to kind of get that 60 frames per second. But in all honesty, for that kind of stuff, I usually use my GoPro for the sort of high speed action-y kind of stuff if I want to be able to slow stuff down. And I'm using spot focus on this, just using the joystick to get at this thing. In focus. I can alternate between the two. I'm going to get that one that's in the foreground first. I get some of that. And again, I'm shooting an aperture priority 2.4, ISO 200. We'll see how that looks. Shoot that for about 30 seconds or so. I'll probably use some of these clips for my stock portfolio. Some nature-y kind of stuff. If they turn out okay. But mostly just to kind of show you guys the video quality. I'm gonna get that one that's a little further away in focus, just to kind of get some variety here. And the wind's picking up a little bit. It's a little breezy. Alright, we're going to move on. I'm going to walk down that way and we'll pick up this video when I get down there. Well, I just came over here to shoot some nature-y stuff, and there's a bunch of geese with some goslings. Hey buddies, don't mind me. Just want to get your little geesey buddies. But I do want to get those little guys over there. I think I might be getting it. Alright, so that was probably an alright shot. Kind of all walked through the frame there. Let's see when we get back home. Okay, that's good for now. Alright, let's turn that off. I'm gonna go back down to what I was gonna do originally, which is over there. I think what I'm going to do as well is shoot some stuff, not at a super wide open aperture like 2.4 or whatever. I'm just going to shoot some stuff at, you know, f11, f8, you know, so I can just kind of get a broader shot, get everything in focus. Alright, for this shot I am just going to get a nice shot of the water on the beach. Try to stabilize that as much as I can. Just going to focus for the shoreline a bit. I'm at f10. We'll see what that looks like. The water's moving a little bit. Again, I'm at ISO 200. This is at f10. And I've just kind of done a medium spot focus on the far shoreline. We'll see how that turns out. It's kind of an overcast day today. Sun's trying to break through. We'll see how that turns out. Recompose here on these lily pads at the shoreline. Maybe move up a bit. Trying to dodge goose poo while I'm at it. And to focus on these lily pads at f10. Try to keep my eye on my camera bag. Again, that's kind of focusing in on the lily pad area there. This is at f10. See how much everything stays in focus. It should be pretty good. And for this, I just have it at a daylight white balance. And anytime anything kind of comes out a little bit, if it's not to my liking, I just change it in post anyway. So we'll see how this comes out. But I kind of do like those ripples on the water over there. So I'm going to recompose, kind of come over here a little bit. Level it. Change my spot to just slightly low of center at f10. Get these ripples on the water. See how that turns out. It's always cool to get some motion in there. What I might do with this is actually record a little bit at 4K and then drop it down to 1080, 60 and then see how that looks. Alright, so what I'm gonna do, oops, menu, oops. Bump that up to 60, full HD, and as you can notice, and people have already kind of made a notice of this, but the 4K is a 1.3 crop for this camera. So 1080 you're going to get, you know, the regular APS-C crop. 4K does crop in a little bit tighter, which it's fine. You know, for most of my action and sports stuff I shoot with a pretty wide angle lens, either my 10 to 20 or my 18 to 55, and it's usually I'm either at 10 or 11 mil or at 18 mil, so that 1.5 crop or 1.3 crop on the 4K really doesn't matter to me. So we'll see what this looks like at 1080p 60. And really the only benefit to shooting this at 1080p 60 is if I want to slow this down a little bit, I can. But it's already moving pretty slow, so I don't know, you never know. It might turn out cool if I slow it down a little bit. And for 99% of my stock clips, I just take out the audio anyway, so it really doesn't matter if there's people talking and geese honking and me talking, so it really doesn't matter. Alright, that's cool. I'm going to get these geese over here. But I'm going to bump this back up to 4K. Tighter of a crop. I'm going to move it over just a wee bit because I know these guys are moving over. And focus and let it go. Sounds like there's a bit of a goose battle over there. I I'm just going to let these geese kind of cross the frame.
Oh my god! Oh my god, Andrew, you're gonna love this. Look what I found!
And wait till they completely get out of the frame before I stop the video. And if you get, you know, more footage than less, then that's fine. You can always crop it, whatever, take out whatever you need.
Hey, guys, I'm gonna trick that.
Alright, that's that. Okay, so I'm going to put on my 18 to 55. Okay, so I got my trusty 18 to 55 on. There's a Kayaker coming across the screen here. I'm going to get him. This is at 4K. This is with the 18 to 55 Pentax. Again, real weird lens. Doesn't seem to show up on any of the websites anymore, but whatever. Alright, you wait till he gets out of frame there. This is a cool little spot, I guess. A little secluded. Right down at the beach level here. When I'm shooting, I do like to get down a little bit lower. So I'm going to get as level as I can. I'm going to focus up towards those. This is still at f10. But I'm going to get that duck, I'm going to get those kayakers. We'll see how this comes out. And again, I'm still shooting at aperture priority. It's kind of my go-to. Sometimes I'll shoot manual if the conditions are wonky, but I find that AV mode is cool for me. So the kayakers out there kind of doing their thing. That little duck out there. I think my focal length is probably around the 30 mark right now. Pause that. I'll zoom out a wee bit. A slightly wider shot. So for this one, I've just switched it over to 1080p 60 frames. The water's moving a little bit, and we can see if we can slow that down a little bit just to kind of create a little bit more drama to it. We'll see how this comes out. Alright. What I am going to do though is I'm going to drop the f-stop all the way down. Now, I'm going to focus on those kayakers. So I'm down in this particular lens, it's f4.5. See if we can get some of that foreground slightly out of focus. But I think with this lens, it'll pretty much all be in focus, but we'll see. And I'm going to switch this over to 4K. And at this f-stop just to kind of compare the two. Okay, so we're at 4K30, I should say. Just to get a little bit zoom and focus on those kayakers. At 4.5. Let's see if we can get any of this kind of foreground out of focus. Doubt it, but we'll see. I don't really use my gimbal that often, but when I do, it's pretty cool. And yeah, generally when I use this gimbal, I use the 18 to 55, and I'll usually open it up to like f10, f11, just to kind of get everything in focus. So you can do like walking videos like this with it. And I am shooting a 4K. I try not to get as many people as I can in my videos, just to kind of... I find using this gimbal, it's a two-handed gimbal for sure. There's really no way around it. If you're doing like real simple stuff, you can one-hand it, but if you're doing walking stuff, it's generally a two-handed operation. Let's gonna do a little walk down the dock. I usually find that when I'm shooting with the gimbal, I'm always looking at the end of my lens as opposed to the screen, because I want to see where the end of the lens is pointing. Let's do a little pan around. Nice level video, which is great. It's always good to get that. So one of the things that's a pain in the ass about a gimbal is if you're changing lenses, you have to recalibrate the gimbal. And if you're outside in the woods, out and about, that means putting the gimbal on something flat and hard, and then going through the settings to recalibrate it. Now you can do this with the app. Most of them have an app that you can do it with, but you know, with the little LCD screen that's on these things, it's kind of hard to see from if you've got the gimbal down on the ground, and you just can't, unless you're lying on the ground to see the screen, you can't, which is why the app helps. But you know, usually if you sort of have it on a flat surface, you know, eye level or whatever, it's easier. But it is kind of a pain. So it's usually when I go out to shoot with my gimbal, I'll kind of just pick a lens and stick to it. But in this case, I just changed it up to my 35 mil because I want to get some, you know, shallower depth of field stuff. Like I want to get, you know, maybe stuff like this. Or, you know, if I kind of have that down a bit, up a bit, like that. Do a little bit of walk forward. We'll see what that looks like. Shit. Alright, and also what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a bit of a hand, well, not really a handheld shot, but just kind of a static shot. And you can see there's a bee. Gonna wander around in here and look at that color. That's beautiful. I do like the touch focus aspect of the camera. That's quite nice. Pull in, do a pull back. Hey. So that's the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more of this kind of stuff. I am probably going to be heading to a skateboard contest event this weekend if the rain doesn't come, because it is outdoor. And I will be shooting some more video at that event with this camera, so you can kind of get a slight difference in terms of the type of footage that it can shoot and its capabilities. I've done a little bit of shooting with it at other sporting events, mostly mountain bike stuff. Haven't done any skate stuff with it yet, but we shall find out how it is. I'm heading back to my car now. That's it from beautiful Deer Lake in Burnaby, BC. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.